Huskund. Now I say, wait, hold on, give me this. Can I throw a tainer afterwards, or no? It's only Edim and Raya.
What did the Bezdin say?
So here, there's no sada like it's a tainer sheker.
Yeah.
Is it the tainer is a tainer, right? It's not like with Edim we'll say it's now Edim sheker.
What did
Interesting question.
What did the Bezdin say?
What do you mean? What's your question?
They say, is it a good time or is it not a good time?
Then you come with a great tainer. Can you come? If it's a stupid tainer, then it doesn't help.
Oh.
You come with a bad tainer, what's it going to help you? You're talking about a guy comes now with a great tainer. He comes with a beautiful tainer. He says, you know what?
Whatever.
When we were shutzim, you're also working for me. Mamela Yechayv Mitzat Pile, whatever it is, right?
Okay.
Whatever your tainer is, like any tainer you come with, it's going to help you win the case. Can you come and throw the tainer? They paskin against you.
So the
You're throwing a new tainer now. No, I didn't want to say. It could be. I didn't want to say this tainer based in because I look like I'm greedy. I look like whatever it is.
But now that I'm
I look like a Talmud Chacham. I look like I'm more. Now I come in and now that I lost, I'm like, you know what? Throw in a tainer. I don't want to say this, but the guy's a mushkos. He said, I don't know.
So now the Bezdin have to do the case again according to that.
Yeah.
Or not, that's a shayla.
I don't know why. The Ramah speaks about him. I'm not sure why. I took you to the Torah and I lose. Can I take you to another Torah afterwards?
No.
Is the second base in allowed to hear the case?
No.
They can't even hear. They can't even hear your taina.
Also, leilech larav.
That's you asking for Allah. Yeah, that's you asking for. Can I turn on the lights on Shabbos? You can't go now ask another Rav, right? You can't go to a different Rav or a Chaim. You've got a psak. You got to keep it.
When I learned this, they showed me the Meforshim. Kamo summa ba'aruba. The first dying is a blind man in the dark.
Uh-huh.
I think the Loshlios carry on and.
Okay, let's take a look in the pre-show over here. We're still in the Torah.
3 shilas or 4 shilas.
Yeah. Take a look in the pre-show. Simon Chof, letter Aleph, on page Kufnun Aleph in the Torah. Mishnah Schayv Bedin. Umotza ad ve'en tzarich leima imachrei v'chulei. Ze Lashon HaMishnah, Perek Ze Bairer, Daf Lamed Aleph, it's the Sanhedrin. Kol zman shemevi raya. What's a raya? Pirush Rashi shtazchus. You bring a shtar. So he says, then you can cancel the judgment. Amulai. Kol raya sheyesh chaviyam toich shleish yomim. They said to both people, whatever raya you have, bring in 30 days. Viviyam lacha shleish yomim. You bought it 2 months later. Eino seisa. You can't be seisa then. If they gave you a specific amount of time, too bad. Amar b'shimon ben Gamliel. What's this guy supposed to do? He looked, he didn't find. He finds 2 months later, that's it, he loses? That's not fair.
Well, even though the stuff, it could be 6 months, it could be a year.
Yeah, whenever you find it, 2 years later, what's this guy going to do? If he would have had it, he would have bought it. The judge says you have 30 days, you bought it 2 years later, what's your fault? So, and this is how he passed when he saw in the Torah, that if they told you got 30 days, you can bring whenever you want. Now, a new case. The judge says to the plaintiffs, have a Edim or Raya? Bring Edim, bring your Rayas. Ainli Edim.
Ainli.
For Raya. Reuven says, I don't have Edim, I don't have a Raya. Lachazman, maybe Edim or Raya. Then, says the Gemara, he brings Edim or Raya. How is Ein a Klum? These Edim, this Raya is a forgery. The Edim are liars. Pirush Rashi, the reason why you can't bring Edom afterwards is we assume that they're sheker.
We don't know for sure.
In other words, L'chayr Rashi doesn't say they're Eidei sheker. There's a chashash sheker. What's the difference? Yeah. Edom have to reach a certain level, a certain rough. What's the word in English? A certain standard of nemonos. We believe the Edom. Yeah. They're believable. Once you said you don't have Edom, we still believe them, but they're not believed 100%. They're now only believed 90%. And you can't be mighty moment with 90%. You need 100% to be mighty moment.
But that answers your question before. You can use them for something else because they're not
maybe possible. Right. Maybe we'll see. Amar Shimon Gamliel says The second case time he argues, this guy thought he doesn't have Edim. He says ainly. Now he can't bring Edim. So Shimon Gamliel says the same thing in both cases. Now, what's the guy supposed to do? He said he doesn't have Edim. Now he has Edim. Bring the Edim. Well, just like he said, if you don't have within 30 days, you can bring after 30 days. You can bring Edim. You can bring Edim even if you said you don't have Edim. So says the Prisha, also known as a Sma, by the way. Rosh Mischayev Bedin. Va'ama pleni kirvuni ve'iduni v'yishetzi raya v'techa b'dosai harizeh eine klum. If the guy saw he lost the case, then he brings raya, then he brings Eidim. He says, hey, come over this way. Upir Rashi to bezeh afilu Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Meida. In the third case, even Shimon Gamliel's Meida, they gave him the Yodo Behen. Since he knows he's got the star in his pocket, V'ama Eilim says, I don't have, Vadai Shakwanim, in that case, they're Vadai Shakwanim. If you said you don't have Eidim, and then you say, okay, your uncle testify. So you're for sure a liar. Ad Kaloshna Mishnah. That's the Mishnah in Pirush Rashi. Spells it out for us. V'alocha, says the Prisha now, V'alocha Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, B'kamaisa v'le b'sraisa. We hold that Rabbi Shimon Gamliel in the first of the three cases, not in the second. The first case was where he says come within 30 days. So if you bring it after 30 days, we pass like Shimon Gamliel, you could bring it after 30 days. But in the second case, where he says I don't have Eidim, you can't bring Eidim afterwards. Carry on the pre-show, turn the page. We'll see one more line over here.
One of the places where you don't hold the point to rush back.
Oh, exactly. Become is with Hamid, the Ein Alach of Shimon Gamliel, Beraya Chayna. What do they say? We don't like the whole of Shimon Gamliel, Beraya Chayna, Sidon, what else is it? Sidon. Yeah. So this is one of the three cases we don't know like Shimon Gamliel. This is the Raya Chayna. Now you know. Take a look, skip to the last line in this,
Pre-show?
in the pre-show.
2 miles away.
In the first column. Why should we assume that it's
Beautiful.
Lashon, right? This guy, he's got the Eidah Sheker, so why don't you bring, if the Eidah Sheker, why don't you bring it beforehand? You pay these guys to testify falsely, right? They passed it against you, now you said, okay, Chevra, come testify. So you paid them already, so why don't they just testify from the beginning? Because even this guy that's bringing Eidah Sheker, he doesn't want to do it if he doesn't need to. Once he needs to, once he says he's lost the case, now bring the Eidah Sheker. Kisova Shaloit Stachledos, Mito, he doesn't need them. Okay, turn the page till, actually, no, we'll first see the Shulchan Aruch inside. Then we'll get back to the pre-show.
Shulchan Aruch, Simon Chof.
Okay, Shulchan Aruch, turn to Shulchan Aruch, Simon Chof. Yeah. Page Tzadi base in our print. Mishnah Chayav based in. He basically is quoting the Torah. Mishnah Chayav based in. Ve'evi Eidim Raya l'schus l'seises adin v'chayzer af b'shvar nigmar. You can always bring Eidim or Raya afterwards. V'afilu in para, even if you already paid. Kozman should maybe Raya seiser. You can always bring Eidim or Raya. They said you got 30 days. The first case, Rav Shimon Gamliel, you can always bring What's the guy supposed to do? He didn't find it. It means the guy's a ganef. Sometimes it takes 30 days. Why did they basically not say bring it right now? Because they know it takes you time. It's a complicated case. You've got to find the Eidim. You've got to find the Raya. They gave you 30 days. It took you 40 days. It means you're lying? No, right? They told him, bring me the Eidim, bring us the Raya. This is the second case. He says, I don't have Ein Li. I don't have Eidim. Even if he finds Eidim afterwards, it's not good Eidim. Next page. If they said, do you have Eidim? And he says, I don't have Eidim. Yesh Choraya, Vama Ainli Raya. He said, Beferish, I don't have. V'danu Aisai, V'chivu. Kevin Shosh Nischaye, Vama Kirvu, Ishplani, Plani, V'yidu, Aishaitzi Raya, V'tech, Apundasa, he takes out the Raya from his wallet, or he says, come testify, Rabbi Sai. They'd be standing here the whole time, come testify. In that case, Ein Ze Klum. The Ramah says, Pirish Cholok Kotan B'tfirsai B'tkein Kisain. He used to have in, a pocket, basically, he takes out of his pocket a star. Ein Ze Klum Ve'im Mashkichin Alav V'arayos. So we don't listen to him, we don't listen to his rayas, it's nothing. Okay, says the Ramah. Avalim Lo Yama Ainli, what's it then? He didn't say, I don't have Eidim. The Dayanim says, do you have Eidim? He didn't say no. What happens? He was shaysuk. He kept quiet. You have Eidim? I don't want to say. He doesn't open his mouth. What's it then? Im lo yam eini rai af shishasak ashin ischai bedin v'achachachama kirvu playne v'yidu. So he said then. He keeps quiet. Then he brings these two guys standing there. Then they're good, says the Ramah. Bit of a chiddush, no?
He never said he doesn't.
He didn't say he doesn't have. He kept quiet.
So in between.
In other words, it could be these guys said, we don't want to testify unless your mom is going to lose. So he didn't want to lie. He didn't say, I don't have Eidim. He didn't answer. He was shasak. So now when he loses, these guys say, okay, we'll testify. Says the Shulchan Aruch, B'medvar Amorim, K'sheisa Raya Etzlei, V'idu Imoy B'Medina. That's if they're in the same country. The Raya's in his pocket. Imoma Ainli, Eidim V'Ainli Raya, V'lach Mekach Bo, Lo Eidim V'Medina Sayam. If the Eidim came from Chutz La'aretz, Oishayet Diskia, Shalov V'Shei Sham Shtaros, V'Fkeres B'Yad all, let's say, his father's papers are all deposited in the local bank, right? Some other guy. The Ramah was in there. Even if it's a case about his stars, and his stars are deposited by someone else, maybe then you can bring it. So if the Eidim came from Chutzatz, you could be Saisa. When I said I don't have Eidim, what do I mean? It didn't mean I don't have Eidim B'chlal. It means I don't have Eidim in Israel. Okay, Shkach, Eidim came from China. I didn't mean I have Eidim B'chlal.
I'm sorry, what's Diskim? Diskia?
A portfolio, a suitcase full of stores. What do you call it? Briefcase.
Yeah.
Well, 1 second, this ain't a double stuff. In every case, you can say that. When he says, I have no Eidim, maybe he's got Eidim somewhere else.
So
You don't say that.
we look at Daitis Yisrael. When you say you don't have Eidim, if you've got Eidim in Yerushalayim, that means that these are not your Eidim. These are liars. The guy said, I don't have Eidim. He thought in those days, Medina Siyam, you're never going to see the guy again. So then they showed up from Medina Siyam, so you're a winner. Okay.
And nowadays, halacha l'maisa, we don't.
Same thing.
We believe it?
Yeah, why not? No,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
strange, Medina Siyam. Guy said, I don't have Eidim. I'm not going to drag some guy from Lakewood. He's not going to come testify. But then the guy shows up from Lakewood. He came for Sukkot. Okay, I've got Eidim. He wasn't going to come. He's not going to pay $2,000 for a ticket here for my 20 shekel court case. But then he showed up. I've got Eidim.
You got a cheaper ticket, IKEA in Israel.
Okay, so take a look exactly. Take a look in Chof. Take a look in the Sma.
Which one?
Sorry, take a look in the Sma on page Samach base, Tzadi base. Chof. Alf Shehevi Raya.
Wait a minute.
Chof.
The top of the simon in the Sma. First man in the simon. Yeah, Alf Shehevi Raya. Who are dinim kovi based in Zman? What happens if patients say you've got to come on Monday? Kovi Zman the based in Shiavay Litain V'leipal Zman he doesn't come. So what's it then? Then Shaddai Nachalit Nachakach Of course, he can come the next day. It's still tying now, right? Then koich basin, we had basin k'voyez man shlo yichol lachzav l'tayin. Im loy shekanu miyadai. Basin can't say you've got to come and tell us your case by Wednesday. If not, you lose. Doesn't work like that. You could always come later. So if Basin says you've got to come by the 31st of December, or you lose, you can always come later, and they can't force you to lose. Unless, if you did a Kenyan, what's a Kenyan? That they said, if you don't come by December 31st, you lose. Make a Kenyan. If you made a Kenyan on this, then you lose. You can't bring afterwards. You made it. So in other words, if they say you've got till the 31st of December to bring your rise, and you did a Kenyan, you bring it later, you lose. Too bad. You made a Kenyan.
Reb Shimshon Raphael Hirsch was a yekker. And he got paid by the German government. And he refused to take money undeserved. When did he die? December 31st. Poked.
Very good.
Yeah.
December what?
December 31st.
To get paid for the last day.
Paid for the year. The whole year finished.
Take a look in Simon Gimel in the Sma. If you find your stuff later, it's nothing. They gave him the Amma Eini Edim. Since he said, I don't have Edim, Amin Hani Edi Sheker Hu Ein. These are liars. These are false witnesses. If you said you don't have witnesses, Shasachran, you rented them. Achashrosh Nischayev. Rashi. Vayim Prisha, Hisham Hichachti. So this is the question now. Big question. What if you bring your Edom later, right? You said you don't have witnesses. Then you bring Edom later, right? But it's Nikar, you didn't rent them. These are not Edom Sheker. Whatever the story is, it's Pasha to the Dayanim that these aren't false witnesses. Can you bring them?
What's the word nicker?
It's
I understand the
recognizable.
translation, but how would you...
How's it Nikar? Basically, the Dayanim know they're not Edom Sheker.
The two Rabbanim, the two Rosh Hashivas, I mean...
No, I don't think that's going to help you. But it's Nikar from the circumstances. Whatever it is, they say, you know what? We couldn't testify. They had a gun against our head. We were held up in prison. It's Nikar somehow. Whatever the story is, it's Nikar that these aren't false witnesses. Can you bring them later? What would you say, Rabbi Isai? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Says the Sma. Afilu hachi imu gadol. If he's not a cotton, v'amatchila ein li edim v'raya. He says, I don't have edim. I don't have a raya. Ein mekablen eidos. They lose. Even if it's nikah. So the whole reason why we said it because they're shakranim, right?
Can we...
What's the over here?
Can
How do you
we...
explain
No,
it?
they're not
What-
Shukran.
Can
We know they're not shakranim, but still they lose.
Can we quantify that? We assume we don't know the Shakranim. You hear the slight difference. And,
We're chayshish. Rashi says we're chayshish the shakranim.
but these we're not Chayshish.
Here we're not chayshish, but still you can't bring them. What's the shot?
Because yeah, that's right. It doesn't have Edom.
I'm upset.
Oh, so let's take a look in. He says take a look in the Prisha. So let's take a look in the Prisha.
Back to the preacher.
Kufnun Daled in the first chelik of the Shulchan, in the 4-page Kufnun Daled, Prisha, second column.
Kuf Nun Daled. Kuf.
Wait, the priest is in the tour.
Yeah,
Kuf and Dal.
Kufnun Daled. Siman Chaf, second column in the Prisha. Ksas Kasha.
Where are we?
Ksas Kasha.
Where are we?
Prisha.
Because we're Mo, or Rameh?
No, because Ksas Kasha. Second column. That
Ksas
thing.
Kasha.
Second column. V'ksas kasha. Lama Omer of Nachman says in the Gemara. Lama Omer of Nachman sham matam mishum dinuka b'mili davula yoda. A cotton, he could bring Edom later, right? So why does Rav Nachman say? You know why he could bring? The Gemara says why can a cotton bring witnesses later? Because he was a cotton. He doesn't know what his father's businesses are. He found Edom when he's a gadol. That's what Rav Nachman says, right? Dinuka b'mili davula yoda. Cotton doesn't know what his father's business dealings are. The zil basataima. The cotton should be able to bring rise afterwards. Follow the reason, follow the logic, Habibi. Why can't a guy bring witnesses afterwards? Maybe he's rented these witnesses. Maybe they're false witnesses. V'hacha da'iri dava kebachi v'azil v'shami inshi. In the case of the Gemara, right, what happens? The cotton leaves based in Paskin, you get nothing, you get none of these fields, you've got no witnesses, don't get the fields. He walks out based in, he goes to the shuk, he starts screaming and crying, and people are like, why are you crying, little cotton? I lost the entire round. I'm a witness. So then he comes to based in, right? All these witnesses all of a sudden show up because he's crying. People heard it. These aren't Eidei Sheker. It's clear to the Dayanim, these aren't false witnesses.
So the kasha is
So
not,
the
the kasha is not on the cotton. The kasha is on the godel.
The kasha is, why does Rav Nachman say the reason
Dafka.
why a cotton's Naaman is because he doesn't know his dad's business? Say a better reason. You know why he can bring witnesses later? Because it's Nicker that they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
They're not Eidei Sheker. It's Nicker from the whole story that he was crying and he saw it. Why are you making a separate rule for Ktanim? Make a separate rule for any time it's Nicker. That's the kasha. Make a separate rule for every time it's Nicker.
Oh.
But
Even by a godel. It's labdak for
Yeah,
cotton.
yeah.
That's the point.
Anytime it's Nicker, these witnesses are good, they're Naaman. But Deichel Kleima, so what are you going to tell me? The story there, the Harim live guys, they love him. The whole story there is that he was faking a cry in order to bring people. They came in the Amma ainly, the reason why you can't bring Edom afterwards is once you said you don't have Edom, you're puzzling the Edom. So even if you have Edom afterwards and it's Nicker that they're not lying, we see that they're honest. But you puzzled them. You said ainly, now they're puzzled. Because you're a peshet, you're like Hadas Badi Kamedim Domi. If you say you don't have witnesses, now these Edom are puzzled. Too bad. Chiddush, no? Inami, option 2. Afishu loy sachram, even though he didn't hire these Edom, Yishlachos. We're not chayshish this guy's going to hire false witnesses. But guess what? When people see the guy crying, they themselves are going to lie. Once he says, I've got no raya, I lose, we don't believe the witnesses. Even though we're not chayshish that the guy's lying, they themselves will lie for their own, their own.
Can we quantify it?
No, the svar of Ein Adam Chayt V'Loi we're saying is not true.
The Edom will be more flexible, is the word.
Could be.
That they will lean over backwards in the schus of the cotton, even if it's not.
But it'll be more imaginative.
Yeah, that's a new word now. More imaginative.
So that's why says the Prisha. We go back to Shulchan Aruch. That's why says the Prisha. He's not Naaman to bring Edom, even if we know that Edom aren't lying. Sma.
Simon.
We're in Chof. We're still Simon Chof. We're now Sif. Take a look at Sif Daled.
Sma, Sif, Daled. Ein lo klub.
Ein Zeh Klum. So what did the Shulchan Aruch say? If he brings Edom afterwards, Ein Zeh Klum, right? If there's only Edom and he brings Edom, Ein Zeh Klum. They gave him the Yoda Medusa Bar Yosef. Halal of Oma Ainli. Since he knew there's Edom, he knew they existed. He said he doesn't have them. Harei nira sheziyef v'shekahu. So mitchil lo yal nicha leila stayeh beziyufa kos bashul nistarach loi. Kumayat ashroi shouldn't schai bedel. Originally he didn't want to bring these lying whatever it is. Now he's happy to do it. Now that he sees he loses, he brings it. Keep going. Aval. If he didn't say ainli, he just kept quiet. Not just Edus Varaya. Who are then im ton taina achas. V'loy shalu beisim yeshu tainas zchuyas acherim. They didn't ask him, do you have any other tainas zchuyas? Sheyochelech danach kach tainas acheros. She'ein seisus sarishaynas v'lista ben adin. Kein kas of Varaj b'chlal yagimel.
One thing.
So he says you can taina new tainas or zchuyot, as long as it's not say to the first time. So if you said, for example, loy lovisi, you can't say now parati. If you said I didn't borrow from him, then you can't say I paid back. But if you say I didn't borrow from him, you can have a different taina. You can't say I paid back. You can say he crashed my car. That's why I'm not paying him. It's a new taina. You didn't say it then, but now you have a new taina.
That doesn't stop you paying. He has to.
No, I'm not going to pay because he owes me money for a car crash he had.
No,
There's
but
taina.
you have to pay. And then there's something in terms for the.
Maybe, in that case. If you come with a new taina, says the Shema, you can bring a new taina.
It's all logical.
Take
Take a look in the Shach over here, same page. Shach says,
Simon.
base, the Shach, same page, just on the other side of the Shulchan Aruch here. אבל אם לא יאמר לי ראיה, ולאו דווקא עדות וראיה, אלא הוא הדין, תיינה אחת. He says one taina, ולא ישאל לו, basically, יש taina oi tainas, is chayes chayes. It doesn't say, basically didn't ask him, do you have any other tainas as chayes? שיוכל לטענה כך תיינס אחרת, שאין סייסס הראשונס, ולסת בהן הדין. He can't go ahead, he could, sorry, שיוכל לטענה כך תיינס אחרת. You can go ahead and bring new tainas now. וכן כסבורש בחל יגמל, והביא בדרכי מיישה, עד כאן לשון סמה, והוא הדין, אם שאלו אם יש לך ראיה ושסק. They said to him, do you have any raya? And he kept quiet. Maybe v'seisa itay night. So if he's shasak also, it's the same din. So the shach says, if he kept quiet, also he can bring new tainas.
Yeah.
So if he says l'chayr, I don't have any other tainas, he can't bring new tainas, right? But if he's shasak, you can also bring new tainas. Okay, we'll start this. We'll start this tumim. It's a very interesting. This is one of the things we were touching on. Take a look in the tumim chaf, first siman aleph.
Where?
On page tzadik base in this print. Mishpatei ha'urim bi'urim siman chaf seif aleph aleph. This calls for reading glasses. Says the Sma. Says in the Sivas. Ein Sma sifkot in Gimel Dominan. Eide sheker shesachran. V'lefi ze nira. The Eidim nifselin negative erzeh. These Eidim now become puzzle
For him.
against him. They might see oid shtar be'edim elu. Let's say I've got another shtar with the same Eidim. Afal ishacha. Even if I bring a shtar on different Eidim on someone else, I can't use his Eidim for anything now. Once I puzzle these Eidim, I said, I don't have Eidim. Now I brought Eidim, these Eidim are gone. They're goners. They're psulim. Kuvu b'ksuvas mem daled, b'taisis diver maskelu rui sahadi. Omnom. However, the Tumim says, because of the Haisha Sachar, lav dafka. We don't know for sure that he paid them. He rented them. They're not Eidim for hire. He's saying they're making a mistake. I know these people think they know. I'm saying they're making a mistake. I don't have Eidim. And they said, no, we saw. Well, I can't use his Eidim for something else now. I don't have Eidim because I'm saying that they're Tayyim. They're making a mistake. So do we believe the Baal Dova to say that these Eidim are making a mistake? Connected Eidim say, no, we're not making a mistake. Who's believed now? I'm not saying they're shakronim. I'm not saying I don't have Eidim and then they show up. I'm saying the Eidim are making a toys. The nega that does piva minon she'edim to v'shleipim v'schavim v'shakrim. So the Tumim says, I think you said this. He could say, I'm not saying they're shakronim. I'm just saying that they're making a toes, making a mistake. And therefore I can use it for something else. I'm not saying they're making a mistake when I got them to write the contract. They're not making a mistake there. But if you didn't see this, no, they're shakronim. We're not going to say it's a mistake. Velfini is daiti. Ef shalom again. You can't say that they make a mistake. Kedemuchach mehad ksuvas brandale. Now, muchach in the Gemara. ומלי שמגידים בבייס דין תלין בטוס, ומלי שחוסם בשתה. השתה גם כן לא יהיה רק כנחקו ידוסם בבייס דין, ונתלה גם כן בטוס. So, how does it help to have Edom in the star? What's Edom in the star? We say Edom in the star, can use the Edom to write the star, for example. So, Edom, how do you know that Edom in the star is a real Edom? It's Kilu, you testified, you asked some questions of Basin, and you were there when you wrote the star, what did he say, who was there? So, Edom in the star is like they testified in Basin. So, we're also going to say they made a mistake.
And double stuff. So who are you going to believe?
Exactly. Says the Nesivus, V'nidan Masha Hiksha Atumim, the Imkain, Reuven Tavel Shimon Mana. I say you owe me 100. V'ama she'ein lo Ryan. He says he doesn't have witnesses. V'achach hevi Edom. The Nifta Shimon. He brings Edom and Hashimon's potter. V'achach tov Shimon le Reuven. Now Shimon goes back in the survey of Reuven, but Tviach Keres, V'edom Elu, Gam Ken Eini Achalik Bois. Now, could Shimon use his Edom against Reuven? Lefi what you're saying, it turns out Shimon can't use his Edom against Reuven because of Eid Apostle. The Ramon of Shach, Ma Edom Emes, Hari Chayv Le Mitvir Rishayna. Im Sochron, Hari Nishach, Hashid Sheker Basin, Vein Yochalot Yech, Achake Baduson. Le Matzanu Ken Bepoiskim, Ad Kan Shaynai. Says the Tumim that, let's say I use the same Edom against you that you parceled. So now we'll say Ramon of Shach. Either they're good Edom or they're not good Edom, right? No, we haven't seen any place when you say such a thing. So Mela, Velafin is daiti. Mela, he says he can't use it. Velafin is daiti. Of course you can be mighty money with these Edom. Just because they're possible for me, they're not possible for you. Vada yochol hoitzi moment behen. Damavo besimil ein tes. Sif Aleph. Beleve sham malele visi. If I said I didn't borrow, Ve'evia malva Edom shalova. Now he brings Edom that there was a loan, or para. The chayv l'shalem. He's got to pay. In other words, if Reuven says to Shimon, "You borrowed money from me." Shimon says, "I didn't borrow," and then Reuven brings Edom that he borrowed and he paid back. So we say the Edom are good for the fact that he borrowed, but they're not good for the fact that he paid back because he said he didn't borrow. When you say you didn't borrow, that means you didn't pay back. When you say you didn't borrow money, of course you didn't pay back. And you're namming more than 100 Edom. Edom say you paid back, too bad. You believe you didn't pay back. Everyone's saying that he didn't pay back. Everyone's saying these Edom are sheker. So when I say I didn't pay back, I'm saying that Edom are shakranim. Edom are sheker if they basin. The Edom said that I did pay back. So I'm saying the Edom are sheker, right? We're saying on the Edom he borrowed, and he has to pay. So just because the Edom, I say the Edom apostle, we can still use those Edom against me. We just can't use the Edom for me. In other words, every case where here's a case, right? I say, Rabbi Gold says I lent him $100, right? I say I didn't borrow. I've never borrowed any money from you. I've never taken money from you in my life. Then he brings Edom that I borrowed and I paid back. Right? Now I'm not Naaman. Now, if I say I didn't borrow, so even though Edom say I paid back, I'm saying those Edom are shakranim.
Yeah.
So the Edom are not believed to say I paid back. So now I've got to pay. That's what the Gemara says. Yeah. I've got to pay. There's witnesses that say I borrowed. I say I didn't borrow. Witnesses say I did borrow. Yeah, but his kasha is, I say these Edom are the sheker. Right? How can you be mechayv money with these witnesses? According to me, these witnesses are the sheker. Right? So
every case in Besdin, when I say this and Edom say that, you'll be chosh every Edom?
No, but here, I have this koyach. I could have said parati. I would be able to say parati.
Or migui.
I could say I paid, right? Now this parcels these Edom. The fact I didn't parcel the Edom against me. Of course the Edom are kosher. These are good Edom. Just I can't say parati. We'll just do one more line. We're running out of time over here.
Still in the.
Yeah. I can't puzzle Edom against me. Only when I'm saying something that's against me, the nega chavasa yodos kamei Edom dami. When I'm doing something against me, it's kamei Edom dami. I can go ahead and puzzle Edom. When Edom comes say I'm right, I can say they're puzzle. I can't puzzle Edom saying I'm wrong. Okay, we'll finish this up tomorrow. But this is the kasha. When can you puzzle Edom? When you can't puzzle Edom?
So the nerd of Yehuda had the shaila on the chicken. And he said,